After the Battle of Chibi around the year 210, Lu Su advised Sun Quan to lend Nan Commandery to Liu Bei since he had just recently occupied it and so be able to defend it well. Sun Quan agreed it would be better to let Liu Bei serve as a buffer against Cao Cao instead of taking Zhou Yu's advice of luring him to Wu Commandery. Lu Dai was sent on a mission to Hanzhong in 211, where he tried to lure Zhang Lu out into an ambush but he found no success. On the way back, he passed by Baidi Cheng, where he witnessed Liu Bei's army in disarray, with about half of his troops either deserted or dead. Lu Dai felt Liu Bei would fail in his mission to seize Yi Province, so told Sun Quan about it, who in turn asked his advisor Wu Fan. "My prediction is based on heaven's will, and Liu Bei will be successful. What Lu Dai saw was merely the actions of people." When he embarked for Yi Province, Liu Bei left his chief advisor Zhuge Liang to manage affairs in Jing. Liu assigned Mi Fang as administrator over Jiangling, while he left Pan Zheng to assist Guan Yu in guarding the territories. Between 212 and 214, Zhuge Liang, Zhang Fei, Zhao Yun and others led troops out from Jing into Yi Province. Tensions rose at the Sun-Liu border throughout these years, as both sides became more suspicious and wary of each other. Around July of 215, Sun Quan asked Liu Bei to return 3 commanderies in southern Jing, since he now had a new base in Yi Province. When he refused, Sun Quan decided to seize Changsha, Lingling and Guiyang by force. He arrived with 30,000 troops and stationed himself at Luku, where he ordered Lu Meng, Ling Tong and Lu Dai to lead some on the offensive, while Lu Su took his 10,000 men to block Guan Yu at Yiyang. Lu Dai took Sun Mao and 9 other deputies towards the commanderies, but on the way, officials from Ansheng, Yongxing, Yu and Chaling moved to Yinshan County to declare hostility towards him. In response, he led his troops to besiege Yinshan County and succeeded in forcing the rebellious officials to surrender. Lu Meng and Ling Tong took the 3 commanderies by strategy, alongside Sun Jiao and Pan Zhang. Lu Meng wrote to the administrators to ask for their surrender, and all of them agreed, except Ling Ling's Hao Pu. During this time, Liao Li abandoned his post at Changsha and fled to Chengdu, but Liu Bei didn't blame him for losing the commandery. Lu Dai was left in charge of Changsha, but the chief of Ansheng, Wu Dang, conspired with the military officer Yuan Long to defect to Guan Yu. Wu Dang managed to occupy Yu County, while Yuan Long stationed himself at Liling, so Lu Su led his troops to deal with Wu Dang, while Lu Dai took his to capture and execute Yuan Long. After Lu Meng had pacified Changsha, he marched on to Lingling, passing by Ling County where he met Deng Xuanzhi, an old friend of Hao Pu's. He planned to use him to trick Hao into surrendering, but he soon received orders from Sun Quan to give up on Lingling altogether and to go back and meet up with Lu Su instead. Liu Bei had returned to Gong'an County and ordered Guan Yu to put a stop to the invasion by recapturing southern Jing. When Sun Quan heard of this, he sent an urgent order to Lu Meng to give up on Lingling and lead his troops back to Lu Su. Lu Meng summoned all of his officers that night and gave them instructions on how to surround Lingling by the morning, without telling them that Sun Quan had ordered them to leave. He deceived Deng Xuanzhi by telling him that Liu Bei was surrounded at Hanzhong and that Guan Yu was stuck in a battle at Nan Commandery. This startled him to persuade Hao Pu to surrender, who became afraid when he heard that he was isolated and surrounded. He opened the city, then came out to meet Lu Meng, who revealed the truth, clapped his hands and laughed. Hao became wrecked with guilt when he found out that both Liu Bei and Guan Yu were actually free to reinforce Lingling, but by now it was too late. Lu Meng had secured control over the 3 commanderies, so he finally went to Yiyang as per Sun Quan's order and left Sun He behind to guard. Guan Yu stated that he was leading an army of 30,000 soldiers, but selected his best 5,000 to take upstream to some shallows some 10 miles away from Yiyang. He planned to cross over at night, so Lu Su gathered his generals for ideas on how to deal with him. Gan Ning's unit was only 300 men strong, so he asked, "If you can give me another 500 troops, I can go and confront Guan Yu. I assure you that he won't cross the waters when he hears of my approach, but if he does, I will capture him." Lu Su gave him 1,000 men, then off he went towards Guan Yu that night. Guan Yu didn't cross the shallows when he heard of Gan Ning's approach, and instead ordered his men to make camp where he was. That place was thus named Guan Yu's Shallows. Lu Su invited Guan Yu to attend a discussion about the dispute. Both sides stationed their soldiers more than 100 paces away from the meeting grounds, while the officers at the talks attended the meeting armed only with a sword or blade. Lu Su told Guan Yu, My lord initially lent these lands to your lord because he suffered defeats and didn't have a base. Now that he has obtained Yi Province, he doesn't want to return the land. When we ask for only 3 commanderies, you still refuse." Before he could continue, an unnamed person interrupted him. "Whoever has the ability to govern the land shall control it, isn't it so?" Lu Su angrily berated this person in a firm and stern tone, to which Guan Yu drew his sword and stood up. "This is a state-level issue. We can't hope to understand it." Although the talks between the two sides were inconclusive, the Sun Liu territorial dispute ultimately ended by the end of August 215, when Liu Bei decided to give in first. By now, his new base at Chengdu was under threat, since Cao Cao had conquered Hanzhong. He decided it was best to make peace with Sun Quan for the moment. Both sides agreed to withdraw their troops, then they divided southern Jing between their domains along the Xiang River. Liu Bei would keep Nan, Lingling and Wuling, while Sun Quan would take Changsha, Jiangxia and Guiyang.